Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bright Ideas Show, and give a big hand for our MC this evening, Pavithri Kilgore.
Good evening. How is everybody? Met some new people? Having fun? Maybe? Hopefully? I'm sorry? Always. I like that answer. Well, welcome to, what is this month? September already? Okay, we do not say the C word here, Mark. Not yet. You cannot say Christmas till after Thanksgiving. So, welcome to the Bright Ideas Show. This is one of my favorite events to attend because here you get to know each other a little bit more of a relaxed, intimate environment, right? You are not in what I call a large group. You get about 30, 40 seconds to meet somebody, and you got to figure out, can I do business with this person? And you move on. Here you get to know people, you get to talk, and you get to know what is important to them, not just about their business. Tonight, we have 3, 6, and 9-minute speakers to deliver their speeches. We want our speakers to bring the heart of their message to us. We'll be having a random guest being selected from your little cards, the tokens you got, from the audience for an interview live. So if you didn't get a raffle ticket, raise your hand and we'll get one to you. Speakers don't get one, sorry. I know, leave it up to me, right? Now, it's time to introduce our host, Ryan. He is the idea guy and co-founder of InspireSmall.biz. He and his wife, Carly, started this organization with the vision that everyone has a skill that could be transformed, something they're passionate about, into a thriving small business. He is also an active member of the Indianapolis East Rotary Club and governor-elect for Rotary District 6560 here in central Indiana. Ever since I found this out, he doesn't put this in the slide, but Ryan gave me a mic, so I say whatever I want. He is also the youngest governor of the Rotary in the Rotary history. So he might know a thing or two about what he's doing, just saying. But more importantly, he is a dad to a beautiful little girl named Riley, and I promise she's so much cuter than Ryan. Some say Ryan's only in my life because I need access to Riley, and that be true. But with all seriousness, please welcome Ryan Henry.
Thank you, Pavithri. Boy, how do I follow that? I don't think I can. Good night, everyone. Well, welcome to the Bright Ideas Show. And this evening, we're talking about clarity. So we're going to have 3 incredible speakers tonight that have some kind of lesson or experience on what clarity means to them. And our hope is that it leaves each of you inspired at the end of this evening. Because this event is getting to know who are the human beings that we're meeting at networking events, not just the elevator pitch. Hi, I'm Ryan. This is what I offer. Would you buy from me? This isn't that event. This event is getting to know what are the life experiences that we've had. Because I promise you, everyone sitting in this room tonight and everyone watching this video later on has had something happen in their life that when you share it, it will inspire other people. It will help them improve themselves as a member of their family, as a business owner, as a professional, something. Everybody has something that can help us improve. But our goal with all of our events, the Bright Ideas Show and all of the other events that we host, is that we want to make sure that our time spent together is not only helping you make new connections with one another, but that when our time is done, we all leave this room feeling like we spent our time in a valuable way. We've learned something that's going to make us more effective. So let's recognize some people that help us make this event possible. Oh, you're flipping all kinds of places, so I'm just going to do this from memory now. So give a big hand for our leaders. John Cannon with My Car Doc. Cindy Gardner with Hightower Graphics, and she is not here this evening and on a well-deserved vacation. Give her a hand. Pavithri Kilgore at KPSK Consulting, and Ray Mills at RM Media. Without all four of those folks, this event would be a mess. It takes a lot of effort to put something together, and I'm just one person. And it takes the talent and effort of all of these people to help us make this event something special for each of you. So thank you guys to all of your help. But we're going to get right to our speakers this evening because I'm so excited to hear from them. We're just going to skip right over what we'd normally do in this segment. So I'm going to welcome Pavithri back to the stage to introduce our first speaker.
Our first speaker this evening is Joshua Barrett. He is a public speaker, author, and coach in Central Indiana. Joshua uses his personal experience with trauma, addiction, and his own struggles with mental health to help others who are struggling. In 2018, Joshua became a licensed coach and chaplain and has served in many chaplain roles throughout the city. He created and maintained the Go Be Love movement and serves on several nonprofits. Joshua currently serves as a chaplain and spiritual counselor to several mental health and detox facilities and serves as the director of youth ministry at Emmanuel United Church in Noblesville, Indiana. Please welcome Joshua Barrett.
Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to get right into clarity, and I'm glad that I went first. I didn't know the order, but one of the things that when I work with business owners and also just individuals that I find can really help the way in which we interact with the world around us is our reaction. I tell a lot of my clients that basically we don't really have control over anything in the world except for our reaction. And so I really work a lot on teaching people the science behind mindfulness and breathing techniques, grounding techniques that allow you to help control your reaction, right? So our reactions, typically when we're in like a heightened emotional state, an anxiety attack or frustrated with a client, whatever it is, any kind of heightened emotional state, the way our brain operates is like kind of our impulse control part of our brain goes away, gets shut off because we're in a little bit of survival mode. And that tends to cause us to react in a way that's not thought out or a way that we're maybe not proud of later on, right? And so one of the things I teach every client and person I work with is a grounding technique of breathing. And you've probably heard a lot of these before because they're kind of trendy right now. But the technique is where you breathe in deeply for 5 seconds, you hold it in for 4, and then you forcefully exhale for 5. I'm sure that you've heard that because if you have TikTok or Instagram, it's on there every day. But there is actually a lot of benefit to this. So the first thing that it does is our brains can only focus on one thing at a time. And in a state of heightened emotion, we're uber focused on that thing. When we start to count our breathing, even though it's 5 seconds, we take a pause from what's happening, what's causing us to want to react negatively, and then we can kind of put together how to react better. The second thing it does is it actually forces all of the gas that's in your stomach up to your chest, and then you release it. So if you stand on a scale while you're doing this, you actually would lose a little bit of weight. Not enough to like stop working out, but a little bit of weight. And a lot of times that reaction can come from like tightness in your chest, tightness in your shoulders, heat in your face, tenseness in your ears. And that gas that you actually like work up and out, it frees you a little bit. So you don't have that tension anymore and it allows you to work a little bit better. And then the last thing is when we're in a heightened emotional state, we kind of go caveman and we look at the problem and the situation as if we're like a tiger that's about to attack us. And when our brain thinks that that's what's happening, it shuts down everything else except for what we need to survive. And so our processing skills get way, way diminished. When we control our breathing and when we breathe slowly and intentionally, our brain says, wait a minute, if I'm facing a tiger, I wouldn't be breathing that way. This is calm breathing, so maybe I need to shut everything down and restart the system and actually analyze what's happening. And just those few seconds will give you enough time to react differently and have an outcome in life that actually is rewarding and one you can be proud of. So I appreciate your time tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Joshua. All right. So let me ask you guys a question. Who here's ever had a problem with their car? Okay. Looks like most of you guys have a pretty reliable one. But for those of you who have had car problems, this next guy can definitely help you. And I say that because he's helped me, and I've gotten to know John quite well over the last year. So a little bit of a background story. When I first started networking, John was one of the first people I met. And as soon as I got back to my computer, what do you think I did with his business card? I put it in my mailing list. And so John started getting emails from me every time I sent something out. And I think it was maybe 5 or 6 years before he's finally like, you know what, let's get a cup of coffee. And so we scheduled time to get together at a coffee shop. And that 1 hour that we scheduled turned into multiple hours. He was just a fantastic guy to get to know. Just to hear the story of what inspired him to start his business was incredible. He started working as a mobile mechanic, opened his own car care clinic, and hell, now tens of thousands of people drive by his shop every day, right off of the highway. He's done work on my car. We've sat there at his shop and had those deep conversations while my car's on the lift. I could kind of see out into the shop. His guys are working on it. So it's not just taking my car up to get work done. It's getting to know a really good guy who's doing something that he's truly passionate about. So what John's going to do now is come up for a segment that we do every month called John Cannon's My Car Doc Car Care Tips. So please give a big hand to John Cannon.
Thanks, Ryan. That was a heck of an introduction, man. I appreciate it. It was about 5 or 6 years. He wore me down. And one of the first things I said was, and Ryan can attest to this, was, thanks for never giving up on me. I really appreciated that. He kept me involved. So imagine, if you will, you're having coffee with your buddy, and they excitedly tell you, hey, you know that new restaurant that just opened up down the street? Yeah. Well, we went there for dinner the other night, and it really wasn't that good. No? No, I wouldn't recommend it. I did not have a great experience. Well, that's no good. What'd you have? I have no idea, but I know it was expensive too. I'm not going back there again. That sounds crazy, right? Like, why would you pay good money to have an expensive meal and not even know what it was? But yet I have this conversation every single week with one of my new clients. Let me put it another way that makes a little bit more sense to you. My car's making a funny noise and it's not running right. Well, what are you experiencing? I'm not sure. It's doing whatever it is, and I'm really upset because I just paid ABC shop down the street $800 to fix this, and it's doing it again. Well, that's not good. What did they do? I have no idea, but I'm not going back there again. I have this conversation every week, at least once, with somebody who walks through my doors. How can you walk out of a business after giving them a lot of your hard-earned money and not even knowing where that money went or what you bought? I mean, this is a shop, not the government, right? But seriously, though, a lot of shops try to make their customers feel stupid for asking questions, or they use a lot of jargon and big words and talk vaguely about what the repair is. And they're just intentionally vague, and they come up on how they came up with their numbers or why they're asking for the money that they are. And that's exactly why my car doc is the non-shop experience. You see, we don't talk down to you. We use regular, everyday words that we relate to. We don't expect you to know everything about cars because let's face it, if you did, you wouldn't need me, right? I wouldn't know everything about what it is that you do, and I wouldn't expect you to make me feel stupid. We not only explain everything with regular everyday terms, we also take pictures and we email it to you so you don't have to take our word for it. You can see for yourself exactly the condition that your vehicle's in, the exact condition of the component for yourself. And we itemize that invoice so that you can account for every single dollar that we're asking for, and you know what you're paying for. So how much more transparent can we be? That's a great question. And now we're talking. Seriously, we're talking. We're having a conversation. You're asking questions, and I'm happy to answer them. I'm very fond of the saying that an educated consumer is a happy consumer because they have the information that makes the choice that's right for them. You see, when there's transparency and clarity, you have the power to choose, and you can choose what's right for you. If your service provider in anything isn't being clear and transparent with what they want you to do, with your money, with your vehicle, you should take your keys and go somewhere else where you can get your questions answered. I humbly ask that you choose to trust my car doc. I'd like to be that person for you. But every single service comes with clarity and answers. That's the my car doc moment. Ask questions. And on every table tonight, there are 9 tips. There's 9 secret tips on how to understand every single repair and how to make repairs easy. One really quick announcement is that we are hosting in October, we do this thing called the Dracula Drive. We get the Varsity Bloodmobile out, and we have a lot of fun. We feed everybody. We have cosplayers. Dracula makes an appearance. And so if anybody is interested in coming out and donating blood for that event, I would love to have you sign up. I do have a sign-up sheet. Or I can also, I'm going to be putting a link up online where you can sign up as well. So, but the only thing is Varsity needs a minimum of 10 people to come out. So I'm asking for signatures tonight. That's my humble request for you tonight. Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to introduce our 6-minute speaker. Our 6-minute speaker is extremely well-traveled. In fact, she and her husband drive from Yorktown, Indiana, to attend InspireSmile.biz events here in Indy. After a career in media and public relations, Cynth'ya and her husband Ken started their travel wellness business in 2006. Their business is called Better Than Donuts Travel, Tours, and Wellness. Cynth'ya and Ken has been married for 49 years and have 3 children and 2 grandchildren. Cynth'ya is very involved with the local senior community and several nonprofit organizations to give back. She's passionate about writing, traveling, and meeting like-minded people and learning their stories. So please welcome Cynth'ya Lewis Reed.
Thank you, Puppy 3. I thank each and every one of you for being here. You are a gift to somebody's world. So always remember that. But myself, I'm going to take you down memory lane. Back in 2002, my life was what I would basically call a bit mundane. But, you know, there was something that happened to me that caused my name to be a household word in Muncie, Indiana, of all places. And I am going to tell you about my friend Steve, who's responsible for literally flipping my life upside down. He was a community activist, and he dared me to run for school board in Muncie, Indiana. I said, have you lost your mind? I have children. I've been married 27 years at that time. I have a dog. I blatantly told him, you are crazy. And so I had a lot of doubt, but he had an entourage who sided with me and said, you can do it, because Steve says you can do it. So it became a dare. I said, okay, Steve, because he also owns a shoe store, Western Boots. I love his Western Boots. But I was outnumbered, so I caved, and Steve was very clear about not giving up on his idea. And obviously, others saw something in me that I did not see in myself. I was unwilling to see it. I put up my own fog mirror, so to speak. So honestly, I accepted the dare because I just wanted him to shut up. But little did I realize that just when you think people don't notice you, that's when they come out of the woodwork. I mean, they just home in on you like ants on sugar. And they notice your words. They notice your actions. They notice even your silence. Like, what you thinking about? You know, none of your business. But anyway, I accepted it, again, because I just wanted him to hush. So if any of you can relate to that type of vetting, it just kind of makes you want to go, like Arsenio Hall did. And so now I find myself running for a nonpartisan public office. And during that time, I was registered as a temp and worked that spring in 2002 at Ball State University at the dean's office for the College of Communications and Public's College of Communication, Information, and Media. That was before the internet. So I did a lot of typing on an electric typewriter. But unbeknownst to me, I didn't know beans about placing yard signs and making phone calls and getting a team together and distributing pamphlets. I was just being a mom with grown folks, you know? And so people were paying attention. Thanks to the efforts of my good friend Steve, who I surmised wasn't that crazy after all. And so my theme and my platform, they were quite simple. It was Cynth'ya Lewis Reed from Muncie Community School Board tuned into you, because I have a music background as well. And it promoted fostering respect between parents, between teachers, between administrators, and kind of a kumbaya, my lord, you know, get along with me kind of vibe. So let's all get along with each other. So although I lost by a couple of hundred votes, which they said was very close for a non-politician, I learned a real valuable lesson, and it was very simple and clear. Clarity brings peace of mind. And so here we are, this awesome Bright Ideas show. And we're encouraged to leave our comfortable little nest and actually connect with somebody else. But just how clear are your intentions about making, hopefully, positive, productive connections? And as a matter of fact, before sharing information with others, how often do you respect what others may have to say or what they do that might possibly just turn you off? Now, let me decipher. The year before I ran for public office, I taught community education on the college level in Richmond, Marion, and Muncie, Indiana. And the students didn't have any idea that they thought I could read their minds. No, I can't. I'm not inside your brain. Bare your brain on topics that you have never thought about and be clear about it. Oh, they couldn't stand me, but they loved me. But I was real strict with them. I said, I challenge you to use 6 simple words. Who, when, where, why, and how, and what. Now, they are teeny little words, but they pack a punch, because what happens is that all of the things about how you respect someone, what your purpose is, come out of those 6 little words. They are make or break words in any situation. So here's some examples real quick as I wrap up. Who are you addressing, and do you show honor? When do you choose to go past the mundane and how are you? I'm fine. Nobody wants to hear that. Where are you conversing? What are the distractions? Because distractions dismantle connections. And why should the listener even care about you? I mean, if they don't, you might as well have a conversation with a sock puppet. Now, where are you conversing? How are you being rightly relational? Don't try to promote a diehard Billy Bob's Fort Worth, Texas fan to go to an upscale Chicago Steppers yacht party on Navy Pier. Ain't gonna happen. So bottom line, if people don't understand your plan, then you run the risk of having folks have that glassy-eyed, glazed donut look in their eyes. Now, when I first auditioned, I didn't have a plan, but I'm so glad I did, and I'm grateful that trusting the people that I care about made a difference to uplift others. So when you talk about hope, are you helping overcome people's problems every day? Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Cynth'ya. All right. So now we're going to do a fun segment here. Each month, PV3, we were watching copyrighted material, and then we decided we shouldn't do that anymore. But it was funny. But you know what's even funnier than what's on TV? What happens in real life. And it's funny until you get sued. while that didn't happen to us, it happens to countless businesses every day because of things they may not necessarily know about. Turns out the government has a lot of things that your business shouldn't do, and if you do them, you get in a lot of trouble. So everyone give a big hand to Pavithri Kilgore for her segment, How Not to Get Sued.
Thanks, Ray. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a scandalous story, so bear with me. Breakup, revenge, and leaked nude photos. So, a trendy digital marketing agency, they are a very creative culture, 2 high-profile employees. Sorry, Mark, wasn't thinking about you speaking today when this was written and changed names. My partner wrote it. A senior creative director and Lisa, a talented junior account manager, began a secret office romance. You know, originally the relationship seems to be going well, all but against company policy. You're not supposed to be dating your supervisor. They decided, we're not going to tell HR about it. We're just going to keep it under the table and everything will be just fine. Side note, if your supervisor is sleeping with you, there's a really good chance you're not the only one. Just, note to self. So, things took a dark turn, shocker, when their romance came to a crashing halt, because guess what? Lisa found out that he's sleeping with other people. So, the breakup was nasty, loud arguments overheard over the office, and fueled by anger and betrayal, Lisa threatened to expose Mark's unprofessional behavior. Mark, because he's a genius manager, in retaliation and with a twisted sense of control, decided to escalate the matters even more and most shocking and destructive way possible. So where did he fail? After the breakup, Mark tried to assert his power by cutting Lisa out of important client meetings, undermining her work, and spreading rumors about her professionalism to isolate her in the office. And then, because again, we're talking about a very genius manager, he decided to share private and sensitive pictures. Oh yeah, with not just his friends, but friends in the office under the guise of warning them about the crazy Lisa, right? Leading to a viral spread within the company. So, did anybody go to HR? Nope. Nobody thought at any point in this that it was a good idea to go to HR until Lisa was talking to somebody else after the photos had been shared, and she decided, okay, I'm done. And they reported it to HR. So, potential risks, legal risk. Company faced serious liability exposure for a hostile work environment, sexual harassment, revenge porn charges, given that the non-consensual sharing of explicit private images is illegal in many jurisdictions. I mean, I'm sorry. The fact that you have to be told that is, again, part of why I'm no longer in corporate world. And the reputational damage to the company is immense, right? It is, what did Warren Buffett used to say? It takes years to build a reputation and 5 seconds to destroy it, right? Loss of employee trust, morale, and regulatory and compliance risk. The company faced potential scrutiny and fines from regulatory bodies for failing to address the toxic and unsafe work environment. state, federal, and state. So, immediately, digital forensic investigation, terminated the manager for gross misconduct, and most importantly, the company's legal team pursued legal action against him for revenge porn. Get in front of the problem, right? In alignment with the state law, and that move sent a strong message that the behavior is not going to be condoned, and that as soon as leadership found out about it, they took immediate action. And we didn't sit on it, right? Support for the victim and addressing the employees, damage control. Did I mention this was a digital media PR company? So that was a lot of fun PR. Policy revisions and mandatory training, and then rebuilding trust in the community and the culture. So moral of the story, it only takes one brilliant manager to completely destroy your business. Don't take the little things for granted. What you think may be common sense is not that common. And what you don't say out loud that is common sense is what usually end up becoming a law or a regulation you have to end up following. Because some idiot somewhere decides they're going to go do something that should be common sense you should not be doing. Talk to your employees. Tell them the basics of expectations and make sure they understand, and more importantly, put it in writing that they've understood. So, don't get sued.
See, I told you reality's even stranger than what you see on TV. Looks, there we go. My head was cut off on the screen there. All right, so now what we're going to do is pick someone randomly out of the audience and interview them. So Pavithri's digging through the tickets, and she's going to read the numbers. So while she's digging, make sure you got your little tickets ready. And who do we got? Five, 3. All right, give him a hand. Is that you? Come on up. All right, let's get him a microphone here. Yeah, that's okay. There we go. We got both of them working. There we go. All right. Well, Ken, we met here last month, I think.
We've gone through this
Yeah, we've
before.
done this before. So you're an expert now.
I don't know about all that, but we'll do the best we can.
Well, Ken, please tell everyone here in the room what is your name and what it is you do.
My name is Kenneth Reed, and I'm part of BetterThanDonuts.com. Okay, that's a business that my wife and I established years ago, and we just have a great time sharing with people, helping them to be able to travel and also have good health.
Awesome. And Ken, what did you do before you guys started Better Than Donuts? What is your professional background?
Well, before we started that, I taught for 34 years. So I taught from K through 12 in Muncie school system. I also coached for a number of years. I coached about 7 different sports. So I spent a lot of time working with young people, so that was a good thing. But then one day I just told my wife, I said, hey, I heard about this, and I'm sure you won't be upset with me if we do it. And she says, well, what's it going to be? I say, we're going to do travel. And I say, I tell you what, we're going to show you how we can make money, we can save money, we can go to places we want to go, and we can actually write that off.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what we've been doing.
So when did your passion for travel begin?
Well, actually, passion for travel really began in, 26.
Okay.
20, yeah. It seems like it was so long ago, but it's not. But anyway, yeah, so when I discovered we could travel and get paid to do it too, and then be able to write things off, I said, oh, we can save money and we can make money. That's a good thing.
Hey, there
And
you
she
go.
won't be upset with me. She just loves traveling.
Awesome. So where has been your favorite place that you've traveled so far?
Well, we have gone to Jamaica, and we've done that. We've done a number of different cruises. I enjoy cruises. Cruises are just great. You go, you're on the ship, you have a great time. You don't have to worry about entertainment. I just love live entertainment. That was a good thing. And you could also, if you want to, spend money, so she was good at that too.
Awesome. And so how can everyone here in the room and our viewers later on get a hold of you if they want to learn more about saving money while they travel?
Well, if you want to know more about saving money when you travel, on the back of my shirt it says betterthandonuts.com.
All right, show
That's
them.
another reason why I wear
There
the
we
shirt
go.
a lot, because it does that. Now, we have a thing called the QR code. Most people are using that. We started using those years ago. As a matter of fact, we pulled up to a store one day and the guy was outside and he said, I could just eat your door. I said, what are you talking about? It was a donut, picture of donuts, betterdonut.com. And he's looking at this glazed yeast donuts. I'm like, okay, well, that works. But that's what we do. So go to betterthandonuts.com. You can find us there.
Awesome. Well, Ken, thank you very much for being our guest this evening. Everyone give him a hand. All right. Thank
I
you
don't
so
know how we can do this.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken. All right. So let's recognize our leaders again one more time here. John Cannon, who had to go home early. Cindy Gardner with Hightower Graphics. At our production table, Pavithri Kilgore and Ray Mills with RM Media. Give them a big hand. I'd also like to thank the Northside Events and Social Club for hosting us here each month and on top of that, feeding us. So, yeah, big hand for food. And our sponsors, KPSK Consulting, John Ciano, U.S. Health Advisors, Carol Blackman, Real Estate Agent in Indy and Florida, Car Care Clinic, The Tax Advantage, Image Inc., Golden Heart Senior Care, and RM Media. So, I'm going to get the hell out of the way here now so Pavithri can introduce our 9-minute speaker this evening.
You got it? Okay. So, our 9-minute speaker is Mark Light. Mark doesn't exactly follow direction, so Ryan didn't get an updated bio from him. So I get to add whatever I want to this. Let's be honest, even if you gave one, I'm still going to add stuff to it. So, Mark is the founder of ASI Commercial Capital. It's a loan brokerage company. But he is also in the middle of a very exciting adventure on putting together his speaking business along with writing his first book. So, had to put that out there. He currently serves on the board of advisors for Dying Defiantly and the board of ambassadors for the American Cancer Society. He is a past board member for the National Football Foundation and was the co-founder of the Pancreatitis Foundation. Mark has lived the last several years of his life by 3-word mantra: adventure, support, inspire. And now he bills himself as the healthiest unhealthy guy in the world. I'm still trying to figure that one out. But please welcome my friend, Mark Light.
Thank you, Pavithri. Just one request. Next time, leave my personal life and my girlfriend's personal life out of your stories. at least in front of all these fine folks. My girlfriend's name is Lisa. So I had a pretty special anniversary yesterday. 8 years ago yesterday, I started an epic journey where I rode my bicycle all the way across the United States. It's something that I've become known for. Pavithri will tell you that's because I make damn sure and tell everybody I meet within 10 seconds of meeting them about that journey, right, Pavithri? Only right now I'm going to make a dirty little confession about that. I'm not capable of riding a bike across the U.S. And yet, on September 17th, 2016, I hopped on my bike in San Diego and finished on my bike in St. Augustine, Florida, exactly 2 months later. See, in order to do anything worthwhile, you've got to have a very clear knowledge of what you're trying to accomplish, right? I mean, to do anything in business or life, or to accomplish anything worthwhile, you've got to have very clear goals. I don't think anybody'd ever argue against that. So think to yourself for a second, in your own situation, do you have really clear goals? Now, I hate to be the jackass here and break some bad news to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. You have almost no chance of ever accomplishing your goals. What's he talking about? See, this ride, this journey, that was a fundraising mission. And before I left, I called a friend of mine, Bill Brooks. For those of you from around here, have you heard of Bill Brooks, former great wide receiver for the Colts, in the Ring of Honor down at Lucas Oil Stadium? Anyway, about 3 weeks before I left to begin that journey, I called and asked him if he'd be willing to shoot a brief video promoting the ride that I could put on social media. He agreed. So I said, Bill, meet you this afternoon. When I get there, I'll explain to you what I'm doing and why. We'll shoot a quick video. We'll be done in 5 minutes. He said, cool. So that afternoon, I got there and I said, okay, so here's the deal. I'm riding my bike across the U.S. to raise money for a little girl from Noblesville who's suffering from pancreatitis, a disease that nearly killed me, and she needs a life-saving surgery. He just kind of stared at me for a second. He said, by bike, you mean motorcycle, right? And I just went. And he said, okay, well, you're at least going to have a car following you the whole way. I said, nope, just me, my bike, and my gear. And he just goes, Mark, I don't think this is a very good idea. As if I had just kind of dreamed the whole thing up that afternoon right before I called him. And I said, Bill, here's the cool thing about that. You literally made your living going up against guys who were trying to separate your head from your neck, and they were totally capable of doing it. The fact you think I'm cray-cray tells me I'm doing exactly what I should be doing. So it's true, I'm not capable, wasn't then, sure not now, capable of riding a bike the 3,000 miles it takes to get across country. Hell, I'd never ridden that far in an entire year. But what I was capable of doing was getting up every morning at 6:30, having breakfast. At breakfast, I'd figure out where I was going to have lunch that day, ride there. At lunch, I'd figure out where I was going to have dinner and where I was going to sleep that night, ride there, and just repeat the process 60 times, and I made it. Bill had no idea when he told me I shouldn't be doing this. He had no idea the amount of meticulous preparation that went in, the years of meticulous preparation that went in to planning that journey. So here's the deal. You've got to have clarity on not just what you're trying to accomplish in order to do anything great. You've got to have very clear understanding of how, including all of the things that can go wrong. One of my favorite quotes ever, I'll just share it with you here. It goes, "Your results will never rise to the level of your goals. They'll fall to the level of your processes." Anybody who said the goal or who said that quote? James Clear. Duh. So I'll leave you with one real quick story. About 20 years ago, my dad and I flew down to Jacksonville to watch the Colts play. Another Colts story. We got there a day early, so we checked into our hotel and we decided we were going to go out and hit the bar scene. Having a good time. One drawback, Jacksonville's taxi service is slow. At least it was that weekend. And Uber didn't exist yet. But we were making the best of it. Going to one bar, having a drink or two, we'd call a taxi, wait 45 minutes. They'd finally show up, so we'd go to another bar, have a drink or two, and we just rinse and repeat that process, all day and well into the night, where we were pretty overserved. We were ready to go back to our hotel. So we called a cab and we waited. And we waited. After over an hour, my dad was beginning to get frustrated. And you have to know my dad and his frustration. Well, right about that time, when he was about ready to blow like a volcano, a police officer just randomly walks into the lobby where we were waiting for our cab at the establishment we were at. And my dad approaches him and asks the police officer to give us a ride home. Cop says, "I'm not a taxi." And my dad's reply was, "Well, no shit. There apparently isn't one available in Florida, which is why you, as a public service, should be taking us home." Cop says, "Sir, have you been drinking?" At that point, I made a split-second decision and decided I would rather be the one bailing my dad out of jail tomorrow than the one spending the night there with him tonight. So I decided I was going to put as much distance between myself and that situation as I could, while still being able to watch the arrest that seemed inevitable at that point. Fortunately, just at that moment, to my relief, our cab shows up. Thank God, saved by the bell. So we go out, jump in the cab, tell the cab driver, "Hey, we need a ride to the Hampton Inn at this address," whatever address we were staying. The cab driver looks at us and goes, "Seriously?" Just in the most disgusted tone ever. Well, in that hour we were waiting, had we just taken 10 seconds to look into the parking lot, we'd have noticed that the hotel we were staying at was literally right next door, maybe 200 yards away. So life has a way of sending us little reminders that clarity is kind of an important thing. Guys, thank you so much.
Mark, that was an incredible story. Let's give a big hand to all three of our speakers tonight. Weren't they great? And if you like this event this evening, you're going to want to join us again on October 16th. Same place, same time. And we're going to have 3 speakers talk about gratitude. So make sure you join us next month for that. Some other events that I want to make sure to share with you. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock is our next marketing inspiration group, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the InspireSmall.biz office near 56 and Keystone. Then Friday this week is the next business spotlight in Greenwood. That's hosted at the Buco de Beppo on 31, just south of the Greenwood Park Mall. And if you haven't been to Business Spotlight, I'm going to share with you what makes that event so unique. If you register in advance, your info is included in a paper booklet that everyone gets. What makes that important is everybody who comes to the event gets the microphone for 45 seconds. And for that time, you can tell the entire room what it is that you do, who you're looking to be connected with, and anything else special about your business that you can cram into that time. So make sure you get registered for that event. We also have Business First Networking on Wednesday, September 25th, and Connections and Conversation on Thursday, September 26th. That is our newest event from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Total CBD shop at Pendleton Pike and Sunnyside Road. That's done as a casual end-of-the-day networking event, which means you can come as early as you're able to and stay as long as it's fun. So a great way to kind of decompress from the workday. Our next Keystone Business Connections meeting is Thursday, October 3rd, and the Bright Ideas Lunch is October 4th. Then we have our Business Spotlight in Castleton at Dave & Buster's on Friday, October 11th. And I wrote some hand notes here. Make sure if you haven't signed up yet and you're interested, on October 18th is the blood drive at My Car Doc. So make sure to deprive Dracula of his blood, give it to a good cause. And then on October 23rd, it is our 3rd annual Tricks to Make Networking a Treat event. And this year, it'll be hosted at Office Evolution in Carmel. And we partner with TTR Networking and Whiteboard Learning to put on this event. So a great opportunity to meet members of other organizations. There'll be some light refreshments served, and that's from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And finally here, because Small Business Saturday is not that far away, realistically, we're already in October, so we're just going to say it's another month away. November 30th is Small Business Saturday this year, and I'm pleased to share that we are teaming up with the Warren Council of PTAs on Indy's East Side to host an event, the Small Business Saturday Expo at Liberty Park Elementary School, which is down on Raymond and Post Road on the southeast side. There is vendor tables available, so if you have products that you want to offer to people who are trying to get their holiday shopping out of the way, you do not want to miss this event. Tables are going fast, and those vendor fees are a fundraiser for the PTA. So at the end of that event, we'll announce how much we've raised for the PTA and give them that check right then and there. So a really good time to bring your friends and family, get that Christmas shopping out of the way, get those holiday gifts. But thank you very much for everyone who was here tonight. I encourage you, before you leave, set a follow-up meeting with someone you've met here tonight, because network meetings of any kind are not effective unless we're following up with the new friends that we make. So I encourage you to do that. Set a time to get together and get coffee, whatever it is, maybe a beer if that's your thing. Just if you go out with Mark, make sure you know where the hotel is first. So everyone, thank you very much for coming tonight. I hope you have a wonderful evening and a great end to your week, and we'll see you next time.